Have you ever witnessed your dog do something so extraordinary, so seemingly impossible, that it left you utterly speechless, almost as if it were supernatural? If that resonates with you, then understand this is no mere coincidence. In fact, you might be experiencing the unfolding of a prophecy first uttered over 80 years ago by a man who saw the future in his sleep. Edgar Cayce, affectionately known as the Sleeping Prophet, received his most profound visions during deep trances between 1901 and 1944. He delivered more than 14,000 documented predictions, many of which materialized with uncanny accuracy. Cayce foretold events like the Great Depression, both world wars, devastating earthquakes, and even the internet, decades before its existence. Yet, one of Cayce's prophecies remained largely overlooked for decades, until now: a profound revelation about dogs, currently manifesting in your home, in your neighborhood, and all across the globe. During his trances, Cayce's visions extended beyond major historical events. He saw clearly how animals would spiritually evolve alongside humanity. And among all the species revealed in his psychic readings, dogs held an absolutely special place. In a 1943 session, Cayce declared, "The four-legged guardians will awaken when the earth enters its new vibration." They would become conscious bridges, he explained, linking the physical and spiritual worlds, disguised masters sent to teach humanity about the profound nature of unconditional love. Cayce described dogs as natural spiritual antennas, creatures inherently capable of sensing subtle energies, foretelling future events, and even bringing healing through their mere presence. He believed these animals possessed abilities that humans had gradually lost over centuries, but which would be reactivated at a specific, crucial moment in history. What's truly astonishing is the precision with which Cayce pinpointed when this canine transformation would begin. He predicted that the first signs would become undeniably evident as humanity confronted major global challenges: pandemics, climate change, accelerated technological advancements, and a widespread spiritual awakening. In one of his most intense visions, Cayce revealed three distinct waves of canine evolution. The first would be their developing capacity to detect diseases and predict significant events before they occurred. The second would involve direct telepathic communication with their human companions. The third and most powerful wave would see dogs transform into true energy cleansers, capable of neutralizing negative energies and facilitating deep emotional healing processes. When the talking machines connect all humans, Cayce stated in 1944, a clear reference to the internet, the dogs will awaken to their true spiritual purpose. They will no longer be mere pets, they will be conscious collaborators in the elevation of human consciousness. This prophecy becomes even more fascinating when we consider Cayce's insight that many dogs arriving in families during this awakening period are, in fact, evolved souls who chose to incarnate as animals to aid in humanity's transformation. Beings of light in the humble guise of household pets. But here lies the crucial point. Cayce wasn't speaking of a distant, abstract future. He was describing precisely what is happening right now, at this very moment. The signs he predicted 8 decades ago are rapidly manifesting all around us. Dogs detecting cancer before doctors, pets comforting their owners exactly when needed most, even from afar, animals that seem to cleanse environments of heavy energies, and numerous cases of near telepathic communication between dogs and humans. None of this is coincidence. It is the manifestation of a prophecy unfolding before our very eyes. The question remains: are you ready to acknowledge that your dog might be far more than you ever imagined? Because after understanding what Cayce truly foresaw about the future of dogs, you will never look at your four-legged companion the same way again. The canine awakening has begun, and if you truly pay attention, it's likely already stirring in your own home. In 1944, during one of his final and most profound psychic reading sessions, Edgar Cayce experienced a vision that silenced everyone present. His voice, already altered by the deep trance, began to paint vivid images of a future where dogs would assume an entirely new role in human society. "I see the four-legged guardians awakening," Cayce proclaimed with an intensity that sent shivers through the room. "When the earth enters its new vibrational frequency, dogs will become conscious bridges between the worlds. They will not merely be pets. They will be disguised masters, sent to teach humanity about unconditional love and spiritual connection. The specific prophecy Cayce received that day detailed 3 distinct waves of canine awakening. The first wave, he explained, would coincide with humanity's mass spiritual awakening, a period he placed in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. During this phase, dogs would develop powerful energetic healing abilities and even be able to detect diseases before medical professionals. The second wave, Cayce saw, would be even more astonishing. Dogs would establish direct telepathic communication with their owners, responding to thoughts before any words were spoken. They would appear precisely when their humans required emotional support most, as if guided by a higher intelligence. The third and most potent wave would reveal dogs acting as true energy cleansers, capable of neutralizing negative energies in homes, hospitals, and even in individuals experiencing deep trauma. Cayce referred to this ability as emotional alchemy, the capacity to transmute pain into healing through their simple presence. Yet, what made this prophecy even more remarkable was the historical context in which it was given. We are speaking of 1944, amidst World War II, a time when dogs were predominantly viewed as working or protection animals. The notion that these creatures could possess spiritual or therapeutic roles was considered utterly absurd by the scientific understanding of the era. The prophet was even more specific, describing the types of dogs most affected by this transformation. He foresaw that both purebred and mixed-breed dogs would manifest these abilities, but that rescued or adopted animals would forge an even stronger connection to their spiritual purposes. It was as if the very act of being saved imbued them with a profounder mission. During that same session, Cayce made a revelation that left everyone stunned. He stated that many of the dogs arriving in families during this awakening period would in fact be evolved souls who consciously chose to incarnate as animals to assist in the transformation of human consciousness, beings of light disguised as beloved household pets. The prophecy also included an important warning. Cayce foresaw that not all humans would be prepared to recognize these profound changes in their dogs. Many would dismiss their special behaviors as simple coincidences or mere animal instinct. However, those who were spiritually awakened would be capable of forming extraordinary transformative partnerships with their canine companions. The most impressive aspect of Cayce's prophecy was his incredible precision regarding the exact moment this phenomenon would begin. He predicted that the first signs would become undeniably evident when humanity faced major global challenges: pandemics, climate change, and accelerated technological transformations. Precisely what we are experiencing now. If you have a dog at home, you've likely already observed subtle shifts in their behavior in recent years. Perhaps they've begun following you more closely, becoming restless before you even arrive home from work, or exhibiting a heightened sensitivity to specific environments and people. These are not isolated behaviors. They are the initial signs of Cayce's prophecy manifesting right before our very eyes. Veterinarians worldwide began reporting an intriguing phenomenon starting in the 2000s. Dogs that had always been calm suddenly displayed levels of intuition that defied traditional scientific explanation. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, a behavioral veterinarian, has documented over 300 cases of dogs developing what he terms emotional hypersensitivity, the remarkable ability to detect shifts in their owner's mental state even before those changes physically manifest. One of the most compelling cases involved Elizabeth Santos, 45, from New Jersey. Her dog, Bobby, a 6-year-old golden retriever, started exhibiting peculiar behavior whenever she prepared to leave for work. He would literally block the door, whine, and refuse to move. Elizabeth initially attributed it to stubbornness, until she realized Bobby only did this on days when she was particularly stressed or on the verge of facing problems at work. "It was as if he knew I needed to stay home and care for myself," Elizabeth recounts. "On the days he insisted I shouldn't leave, something important always happened that made me rethink my priorities. That's when I understood Bobby wasn't being stubborn. He was protecting me." But these signs extend far beyond basic emotional sensitivity. Researchers at Duke University in the United States have begun documenting cases of dogs developing the astonishing ability to detect diseases with incredible accuracy. We're not just talking about cancer, which was already known, but also conditions like diabetes, epilepsy, and even deep depression. The case of Luna, a 4-year-old Labrador, garnered international attention when she began obsessively sniffing her owner, Joan's, left arm for 3 consecutive weeks. Joan initially disregarded the behavior until Luna started barking and scratching persistently at the same spot. Concerned, he consulted a doctor and discovered a small tumor that hadn't yet been detected in his routine exams. The tumor was precisely where Luna had been sniffing. Animal shelters, too, have begun to notice significant changes. Dogs once considered difficult to adopt are now forming instant, profound connections with specific individuals visiting the shelters. It is as if they inherently know exactly which human needs their companionship at that precise moment. Anna Claudia Ferrer, a shelter coordinator, expressed it perfectly. We started to notice that the dogs were choosing their owners, not the other way around. They seemed to sense people moving through challenging times, divorces, family losses, illnesses, as if guided by an inner radar, detecting precisely who yearned for unconditional love the most. Another profound indication of this shift was the remarkable rise in certified therapy dogs worldwide. Between 2010 and 2020, the number of dogs specifically trained for emotional therapy surged by over 400% globally. Yet, what truly captivated specialists was the observation that many of these dogs began to exhibit natural therapeutic abilities, even before embarking on any formal training. Hospitals, for instance, reported instances of visiting dogs who intuitively identified patients in greatest need of companionship. They would gently bypass those who seemed content, heading directly to the bedsides of patients navigating crucial recovery stages. Nurses soon began to recognize and utilize this innate canine intuition as an additional, unspoken indicator for identifying patients requiring a little extra care and attention. Furthermore, animal behavior research centers documented an increasing trend: dogs reacting to storms, earthquakes, and other natural events with greater advance notice. Where they once might have shown restlessness mere hours before a seismic tremor, some dogs now gently alerted their owners up to 2 days in advance. The most captivating aspect of these emerging signs lies in their universality. It appears to transcend breed, age, or background. These special abilities are blossoming in all types of animals. From the smallest poodles in city apartments to the sturdy mutts on sprawling rural farms, all seem to be awakening to abilities that had long lain dormant. And most impressively, this was merely the prelude. The subtle signs we first began to notice in the early 2000s were, in truth, only the initial wave of a grander unfolding. What was yet to come promised to be even more extraordinary. Imagine returning home after a particularly draining day and feeling all that heavy energy simply melt away the very moment your dog approaches you. This isn't mere coincidence or wishful thinking. It's the beautiful manifestation of a skill dogs are rapidly cultivating: the capacity to function as true energetic purifiers. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, a respected biologist and researcher of unexplained phenomena, devoted over a decade to meticulously documenting cases of dogs exhibiting abilities that stretch far beyond the boundaries of traditional scientific explanation. His extensive studies revealed that dogs across the globe are developing an extraordinary sensitivity to detect and gently neutralize negative energies within environments and among people. One of the most compelling documented cases involved the Thompson family in England. After moving into an antique house, every family member began experiencing unsettling nightmares, persistent insomnia, and a pervasive sense of unease. Max, their loyal German shepherd, soon began to display unusual behavior. Each night, he would methodically patrol the house, pausing at specific points where he would stand completely still for several long minutes as if engaged in an unseen task. Max performed a kind of ritual, shared Sarah Thompson. He would breathe deeply in certain corners of the house, sometimes softly whimper, and then shake his entire body, as if shedding something invisible. After his nightly rounds, we all found ourselves sleeping more soundly. The family, intrigued, decided to engage an energy specialist to evaluate their new home. The professional confirmed the presence of several residual energy charges within the house, precisely in the spots where Max made his nightly stops. Following a few weeks of Max's dedicated canine ritual, both the specialist and the family unequivocally confirmed that the energy within their home had undergone a complete and profound transformation. Hospitals and clinics worldwide also began observing similar phenomena with their therapy dogs. Nurses recounted how certain dogs could identify rooms permeated with heavy energy, steadfastly refusing to enter until the space had been gently, spiritually cleared. Once they finally stepped inside, patients in those rooms showed remarkable improvements in their emotional states and even their physical well-being. Holistic therapists, recognizing this profound gift, have now begun to collaborate with these special dogs to deepen and enhance their treatments. During energy cleansing sessions, some dogs have demonstrated an astonishing ability to absorb negative energies released by clients, subsequently discharging those energies through subtle yawns, gentle trembling, or even brief spirited runs in circles. Esther, a dedicated Reiki therapist, has partnered with her dog Isis for 3 years during client sessions. Isis consistently positions herself calmly at the client's feet throughout the treatment. When we delve into deep traumas or emotional blockages, Esther explains, she literally trembles, as if actively processing that negative energy. Then she will quietly leave, shake herself, drink some water, and return to the session completely renewed. Homes that have endured traumatic events, deaths, separations, intense family disagreements, have reported their dogs spontaneously initiating energy cleansing behaviors. These dogs would systematically patrol the house, pausing in specific areas where arguments had erupted, then lie down for extended periods, appearing to absorb and transmute the lingering residual energies. Some dogs have even developed the ability to neutralize negative energy simply through touch. Reports of people feeling instantly calmer after being gently touched by certain dogs have multiplied exponentially in recent years. This isn't merely a typical touch. It feels distinctly like a conscious transfer of positive energy. The remarkable case of Amando, a loving mutt adopted by Ferdinand, beautifully illustrates this evolution. Whenever someone arrived at Ferdinand's home feeling stressed or sorrowful, Amando would approach and gently rest his paw on the person for a few quiet minutes. Without exception, everyone reported an immediate sensation of profound relief and tranquility. Amando seems to possess an internal sensor for detecting exactly who needs positive energy, Ferdinand muses. He's never once been wrong. And what's most striking is that after his gentle treatments, people leave visibly lighter and truly renewed. This canine's spiritual evolution is not confined solely to energy cleansing. Many dogs are simultaneously developing the remarkable ability to protect their homes and families from negative external influences. They can subtly detect when individuals with less than good intentions are approaching, and in response, create an almost palpable energetic shield around their dwelling. Social media platforms now daily showcase captivating videos of dogs performing acts that seem utterly impossible. Dogs materializing seemingly from nowhere to heroically save children from imminent accidents. Beloved pets awakening entire families just seconds before devastating fires ignite. Animals locating missing persons in situations that defy all conventional logic. These are far from isolated incidents. They are vibrant manifestations of the third wave of Cayce's prophecy, intensifying all around us. The case that garnered global attention unfolded in March 2023, within a tranquil small town in the interior of Minas Gerais. Baya, a spirited 8-month-old mutt, began barking desperately in the dead of night, scratching frantically at her owner's bedroom door. The family awoke, initially annoyed, assuming she simply needed to go outside. But Baya, with unwavering determination, bolted directly to the 6-month-old baby's room, continuing her insistent barking. When the parents finally reached the crib, they discovered their baby in apnea, her tiny body completely purple. Doctors later confirmed, without a shadow of a doubt, that without Baya's intervention, the child would not have survived. What makes this story even more astonishing is that Baya had never displayed any protective behavior prior to this episode. It was as if she had awakened to her sacred guardian mission at the precise moment she was most needed. Dr. James Serpell, the esteemed director of the Center for the Interaction of Animals and Society at the University of Pennsylvania, has been diligently collecting similar accounts for over 5 years. His ongoing research has meticulously documented more than 200 cases of dogs saving human lives in ways that science, as yet, cannot fully explain. What we are observing extends far beyond traditional protective instinct, Dr. Serpell explains with thoughtful consideration. These dogs exhibit a profound precognitive ability. They seem to know something is going to happen long before any physical signs begin to appear. It is as if they have access to information they simply should not possess. This extraordinary phenomenon intensifies even further when we consider dogs who bravely save complete strangers. In October 2023, Thor, a majestic German shepherd, managed to escape from his home and ran 3 blocks to a nearby construction site. There, he began barking incessantly at a group of unsuspecting workers, preventing them from entering a specific area. A mere 20 minutes later, precisely where Thor had refused to let them go, a heavy concrete structure violently collapsed. Thor had never before left the house alone, his owner recounted, and there was no apparent reason for him to be aware of the danger at that site. It was truly as if he had been given a very specific mission in that exact moment. Now, just imagine you're simply thinking about making your way home, and your dog is already patiently waiting at the door, even though you are still miles away and your schedule was entirely unplanned. Or perhaps your beloved pet appears quietly beside you exactly when you're feeling a deep sadness, without you having shown any external signs of distress. This, my friends, is not mere imagination. It is genuine telepathic communication unfolding silently between you and your dog. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake conducted the most comprehensive study ever undertaken on animal telepathy. Over a dedicated decade, he meticulously documented more than 4,000 cases of dogs who demonstrated the profound ability to perceive their owner's thoughts and intentions from a distance. The results were so compelling, so utterly profound, that they completely challenged our existing understanding of animal communication. Sheldrake's most celebrated experiment involved JT, a spirited fox terrier who unfailingly knew when his owner, Pam Smart, was coming home. What makes this so remarkable is that Pam worked irregular hours and utilized different modes of transportation each day. Cameras strategically installed in the house unequivocally showed that JT would begin to display restlessness and position himself expectantly at the window precisely at the moment Pam decided to return home. Not when she physically left work, but when the very thought of returning home consciously formed in her mind. We tested JT for 2 consecutive years, Sheldrake explained. It mattered not whether Pam returned by car, by bus, by train, or simply on foot. It mattered not if she left earlier or later than usual. JT always, without fail, knew the exact moment she formed the clear intention to come home. And this telepathic communication, it seems, is far from limited to detecting only emotional states. Dogs are now demonstrating an astonishing capacity to respond to our unspoken thoughts. A profound connection being explored by Sarah Johnson, a dedicated dog trainer in Los Angeles. She pioneered an experimental protocol, inviting owners to simply think specific commands while gazing at their canine companions. Sarah recounts, "I started by asking owners to only think about specific commands while looking at their dogs, and the outcomes were truly remarkable. Dogs successfully obeyed mental directives such as sit, come here, and lie down with an impressive 78% success rate. Perhaps even more captivating is canine telepathy's ability to transcend vast physical distances. American military personnel have provided compelling accounts of dogs reacting to imminent dangers faced by their soldier owners, even when separated by thousands of miles in combat zones. Corporal James Mitchell, an Iraq war veteran, shared that his dog, Princess, who remained stateside during his deployment, would invariably become agitated and distressed on the precise days he was embroiled in intense combat. "My wife started noting the days Princess was inconsolable," he recalled. "When I came back and compared it with my mission diary, the synchronization was perfect." Seeking to understand the underlying neurological mechanisms, researchers at Duke University are delving into this telepathic communication. Through simultaneous MRI scans of both dogs and humans, they've uncovered distinct brain synchronization patterns, hinting at a form of non-local communication between species. Dr. Michael Chen, the neuroscientist leading the study, explains, We observed brainwaves synchronizing between dogs and their owners even when they were in separate rooms. He adds, it's as if there's a shared frequency allowing the exchange of information without any physical communication channel. This telepathic link also appears to manifest through shared dreams, with hundreds of individuals reporting vivid dreams where their dogs convey specific messages or alerts pertaining to real-life situations. Have you ever paused to wonder why these extraordinary canine transformations are unfolding right now? Why dogs across the globe are simultaneously awakening to abilities that seemed utterly impossible just 2 short decades ago? The answer, it seems, is intricately connected to something far grander than we might imagine. A planetary vibrational elevation, precisely predicted with uncanny accuracy by the visionary Edgar Cayce. According to Cayce's readings, the Earth was destined to enter a new evolutionary phase in the early 21st century, characterized by an accelerated collective human consciousness. He termed this epoch the time of the Great Awakening, when both humans and animals would unlock dormant spiritual abilities, enabling them to navigate the profound transformations of this planetary transition. In 1943, Cayce foretold, when humanity faces its greatest challenges, the four-legged guardians will awaken to guide and protect during the passage into the new Earth. They will serve as beacons of unconditional love in times of turbulence. Adding scientific weight to this understanding, Dr. David Hawkins, a distinguished psychiatrist and researcher of consciousness levels, developed a scale to measure humanity's collective energetic vibration. His meticulous studies reveal that since the year 2000, human consciousness has been undergoing an unprecedented acceleration, rapidly escalating from survival-level states to spiritual awakening at a pace that would typically span centuries. Dr. Hawkins notes, we are witnessing a real-time evolution of consciousness. He further explains, and animals, especially dogs, are responding to this vibrational rise by developing abilities that connect them more deeply with the human experience. The temporal synchronicity of these events is undeniable. The most intense manifestations of special canine abilities began to be extensively documented starting in 2001, precisely when humanity endured one of the greatest collective shocks in modern history. It was as if dogs had received a cosmic activator, signaling the commencement of their spiritual support mission. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have made a groundbreaking discovery. Major traumatic global events generate measurable electromagnetic waves that impact the planet's energetic field. These waves not only influence human behavior, but also trigger evolutionary responses in domesticated animals, particularly those with profound emotional bonds to humans. Dr. Rand McCready, HeartMath's director of research, elucidates dogs function as living antennas for these planetary energetic changes. They are responding to frequencies we humans are only beginning to understand scientifically. The 2020 pandemic marked yet another pivotal milestone in the K9 awakening. Veterinary reports from around the world documented a surge of anomalous behaviors in dogs during lockdowns. Animals that had never before exhibited special sensitivity began displaying remarkable emotional detection abilities, energy healing capacities, and even premonition. Dr. Sandra Molina, a behavioral veterinarian from Madrid, observed, it was as if the collective emotional intensity of the pandemic activated something dormant in dogs. In 2 years, I received more reports of psychic canine behaviors than in my entire previous career. This profound phenomenon isn't limited to traumatic occurrences. Global celebrations, collective meditations, and mass spiritual movements also generate energetic waves that amplify canine abilities. During celestial events like solar eclipses, supermoons, and other significant astronomical alignments, animal research centers worldwide consistently document spikes in telepathic activity and healing behaviors among dogs. Quantum physicists are now theorizing that dogs may be accessing what they term the collective morphogenetic field, a non-local information network connecting all living consciousness on the planet. As humanity elevates its vibration through challenges, growth, and spiritual awakening, dogs automatically attune to these higher frequencies. Dr. Amit Goswami, a quantum physicist and author of The Self-Aware Universe, explains, dogs have always been sensitive to subtle energy fields, but now as human consciousness expands, They are accessing levels of quantum information that allow them to function as bridges between dimensions of reality. The digital age, too, plays a crucial role in this unfolding awakening. The very technology that instantaneously connects billions of human minds is simultaneously creating a planetary electromagnetic field that further amplifies dogs' natural psychic sensitivity. They are, quite literally, picking up the waves of information circulating through global communication networks. Spiritual centers worldwide report that their resident dogs have begun displaying special behaviors synchronized with global meditations and collective prayer movements. During events like Earth Day, solstice celebrations, and global peace campaigns, these animals spontaneously enter deep meditative states. Lama Tenzin from the Buddhist Center in Brasilia states, "Our dogs become living barometers of the rise in planetary consciousness. When humanity unites in positive intention, our canine companions respond immediately, radiating a peace that further amplifies the collective energy." Astrologers and scholars of cosmic cycles emphasize that we are currently living in what many ancient traditions called the era of transition, a period when planetary consciousness undergoes a fundamental transformation. Dogs, as beings naturally attuned to cosmic rhythms, are serving as catalysts and facilitators of this transition. Maria Helena Ramalho, an astrologer and researcher of cosmic cycles, explains, "Dogs are the first to catch the new frequencies arriving on the planet. They are showing us what the next phase of conscious evolution will be like. More telepathic, more empathetic, more energetically connected." The urgent challenges posed by climate change and global environmental concerns have also activated within dogs a profound collective preservation instinct. They seem to intuitively grasp that their spiritual evolution is directly intertwined with the survival and evolution of human consciousness. Evolutionary biologists suggest we are witnessing what they call accelerated symbiotic evolution, where two species evolve rapidly in response to extreme environmental pressures, developing traits that mutually benefit their survival. Dr. Lynn Margulis, an evolutionary biologist, clarifies, "Dogs are evolving to become our conscious partners in navigating the planetary challenges we face. They are developing exactly the skills we need: intuition, healing, early problem detection, emotional support, to make it through this critical time in human history." The canine awakening, therefore, is not an isolated phenomenon. It is an integral part of a grander cosmic orchestration, preparing both humans and animals for a new phase of planetary existence. Dogs have consciously chosen to assume the vital roles of guides, healers, and protectors during this crucial transition. This profoundly explains why so many pet owners report the deeply felt sensation that their dogs specifically chose them, arrived with a particular mission, or are undeniably much more than just pets. Because they truly are. They are conscious collaborators in one of the greatest transformations Earth consciousness has ever experienced. Edgar Cayce's prophecy was not merely about a distant future. It was a comprehensive preparation manual for a reality that has already arrived. Right now, as you absorb these words, millions of dogs around the world are operating as conscious bridges between dimensions, energetic healers, and spiritual guardians of humanity. The question is no longer, will this happen? But rather, how will you prepare for this new reality? If you share your home with a dog, it is essential to understand that they may be far more than you currently imagine. Recent statistics reveal that 73% of domestic dogs exhibit at least one special ability that their owners initially attribute to mere coincidence. Learning to recognize and nurture these nascent abilities can completely transform your relationship and unlock portals of communication you never thought possible. The crucial first step is to diligently observe patterns in your dog's behavior that extend beyond common instinct. Does your dog appear precisely by your side when you're feeling low, even if you're in another room? Do they become restless before unexpected visitors arrive? Do they show a particular interest in certain areas of your body that later prove to be points of tension or emerging health issues? These are not random behaviors. They are potent manifestations of spiritual abilities in active development. Dr. Patricia Goodman, a renowned expert in the field of animal communication, has outlined a gentle protocol for recognizing dogs who possess truly special abilities. Simply observe if your beloved companion seems to respond to your unspoken thoughts, perhaps even before you utter a word. Gently try mentally calling them from a separate room, or notice if they intuitively react to your emotions, even those you're attempting to conceal. These subtle yet profound instances often serve as clear, tender indications of active telepathic communication. To lovingly nurture these emerging abilities, dedicate daily moments to conscious connection with your dog. Find a peaceful space to simply sit in silence with them for 10 to 15 minutes. Allow for gentle eye contact, and softly, mentally send them thoughts of deep gratitude and unconditional love. Many owners consistently report that this beautifully simple practice profoundly deepens the telepathic bond with their cherished companions. And for those who haven't yet welcomed a dog into their lives, simply remain open and prepared to recognize when a truly special animal gracefully crosses your path. Dogs with profound spiritual missions often choose their human families through remarkable synchronicities. They might appear precisely when you need them most, immediately demonstrating an undeniable, heart-to-heart connection, or arrive through circumstances that resonate deeply, feeling very much like destiny unfolding. In this evolving understanding, entirely new and wonderful professions are gently emerging to support this fascinating reality. Roles like compassionate animal communicators, dedicated human-canine connection facilitators, insightful telepathic skill trainers, and caring therapists specializing in human-dog pairs are finding themselves increasingly sought after. Even technology is gracefully adapting and evolving alongside us. Consider innovative apps designed to monitor the energetic synchronization between humans and their dogs, advanced devices that gently measure subtle electromagnetic fields in environments shared with these special pets, and thoughtful platforms connecting owners of dogs who share similar extraordinary abilities. All these advancements are beginning to revolutionize our collective understanding of this profound evolutionary partnership. Perhaps your own dog is one of those disguised masters, just as Cayce glimpsed in his profound visions. And perhaps you yourself are among those chosen to be a vital part of this beautiful transformation, one that is gently yet powerfully redefining what it truly means to be human on a planet where consciousness itself is blossoming and evolving exponentially.